I keep saying it over and over again. It really starting to look like it now for sure, especially after that song he put out yesterday. Quavo, are you really just siding with Jay Prince them and the Prince family, or are you just so mad right now at Offset and what y'all got going on that you willing to side with the side that murdered your nephew just to show how much you don't fuck with this man? That's all I want to know. Because with the song yesterday, me personally, I like it. So I ain't gonna knock him, you know what I'm saying? Because it's two things you could take from it. The first time I listened to it, majority of what I heard was just shots at Offset and, just stuff, shading the group, or just like him promoting his solo career. Then when I listened to it the second time, it was more like on the motivational side where it's a message in it. Basically explaining to you what, like, no matter what go on in life, no matter what obstacles you go through, death is inevitable. Inevitable. Death is inevitable. Like, we all gotta experience that, but what you can do is start looking at stuff that life throw you as another, way to just excel to another level of greatness. So I get that, if that made sense, if y'all understood what I was saying. But I was thinking today, and it's just, what you gonna do, Quavo, if it ain't no more Migos? Because Righteous, just being real, can you really do it by yourself? Like the solo route. Can you really go solo and get them same views that y'all was getting on YouTube and shit like that as a group? Like, you go look at their videos and shit as a group, they got hundreds of millions of views on like as a group, Migos, with their songs and shit. So will you be able to put out songs that do them same numbers as a solo artist? Me personally, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying, just as a fan, I ain't checking for no Quavo music. I feel like Quavo was the sound for a certain period of time because he had the voice, he was melodic with the auto tune and stuff like that. He got a real distinct voice. So for a long time, he was the voice of the group. But as as Offset got better, Offset to me was the weak link. But when he got out of jail and he started rapping, I always consider Offset the weak link. I was like, Takeoff straight, he got a long way to go, but he better than Offset. Offset is the weak link. But each one of them as time went on, they got better and they made each other better, so the group got better. Will you be able to carry that same load as a solo artist? Because you gotta think, Quavo, you only did majority like hooks. You were just the hook king. Like, you know what I'm saying? And when you put your album out, your album didn't do it good at the last Rocky. Like, Takeoff really was riding as a solo artist. Like, I ain't gonna even cap. Like, Takeoff and Offset, I feel like as solo artists, just being real, if the group had to split up and each one on went their separate ways and Takeoff was still here, I think Takeoff would have been like the first rapper to stand out on his own as a solo artist, then Offset, then you, Quavo. It kind of like the table would have turned then. You would have ended up being the weak link. So I said all that to say, as I see you diss and shade Offset and how you keep saying it ain't no more group, like how you said in the song you just dropped, will you regret that kind of in the long run? That you like majority of, cause all this to me, I feel like it's just out of emotions of frustration and just, with everything going on right now, I feel like a lot of this stuff that he doing, it just because he mad. He won't answer. He lost his nephew. I don't think, man, if Takeoff was still here, I believe the beef eventually would have, like, at some point, they would have came to some type of understanding and Migos would have been a group again. Ain't no doubt about that. That's just how I feel in my mind. I feel like if none of this would have happened with Takeoff, at some point down the road, these guys would have got back together. Because when you just think about why they separated, that's why I keep saying, like, Quavo, how much of this can you really just do on your own? Because when you think about it, you and Offset fell out over a woman, allegedly, a female. This man ain't disrespected you. He ain't spit in your face. He ain't slapped your mom. Like, none of that. Y'all, there's stuff that, like, as far as what we know and what the public know and what been put out in Breakfast Club, all this bullshit like that, TMZ. So as far as what we know up until this point right here, when you and Quavo fell out. I mean, when you and Offset fell out, Quavo, it like might have been about you and Sweetie. That he probably slept with Sweetie. He probably fucked around with Sweetie at some point, like he backdoored you. But, you know, to each his own with how they feel about that. Let me just say that, like, me and my homeboy, like, we want to fell out like that, just being real. Because it like, for one, motherfuckers ain't just cuffing everything, just being real. Like, you gotta know what you got, Quavo. The girl was passed around before you got with her. So how mad can you really just be at a nigga for being a nigga when you chose the bitch? You knew how to, I hate to just say it like that, but you knew how the bitch was when you got her. So how can you just, like, it ain't like y'all got real smoke from what we see. I'm just speaking from the outside looking in, just, been giving my opinion for the video, you know what I'm saying, content. From the outside looking in, I don't see the situation being so serious to where it ain't no more group. Then not only that, it like, so was the talk that y'all had at the funeral when y'all was at the podium and shit, at Takeoff funeral when y'all talked in the hook, so now was all that fake? Like, just looking back on it now, since you got, they just say in your song, just the energy you been moving off what they said happened at the Grammy backstage, it seemed like you mad at the wrong person right now. And you want to make this situation be about something that it ain't, because you don't want to be mad at who you really mad at. You mad at Jay Prince now. Now, the streets go how the street go. Like I said in one of my videos before when I talked about this, like, maybe in your mind you gonna charge it to the game, or you don't got no choice but to charge it to the game. But you just gotta take that for what that is. That what come with the street, man. If that's how you looking at it. But one thing you can't do, if you ain't gonna address who the problem really with, don't make it seem like Offset is the reason for all your anger right now. Because up until this point right here, from what I saw, I don't feel like at no point none of this shit would have been as public as it is now if Takeoff hadn't died, because y'all ain't really was speaking on shit like this. It like Jay Prince may have like initiated the beef further with what y'all going on when he had a problem with Offset and he tried to throw you and Takeoff in it. That right there, that was kind of crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just think about it. When he got on Gilly $1 million worth of game, whatever you had to say about Offset, you could have just, so when he say, I'm gonna just say this. You could have said anything you wanted to say about Offset and how you personally felt about Offset, but you didn't have to hit him below the belt with cause from my knowledge, Quavo and Takeoff went rocking with you before he passed and stuff like that. Like the man said, how dare you to speak on the relationship that he got with his brother? They let you know right there. You, like I always say, just think, man. Offset is showing real emotion. Quavo just going along with some bullshit right now. When Offset said, how dare you speak on my family like that, and you can see in his eyes, you can hear it in his voice, that was pure emotion. That was real emotion. Because that was like a hit below the belt. Like, ain't nowhere in the hell, you know what I'm saying? Like, Quavo, and for this, how do you even let somebody just come in and just step on an Atlanta nigga like that? And this was your family, this a nigga you been in a group with for like 10, 11, 12 years. It's like you choosing another state over your own city. I mean, like another city over your own city. Am I making sense? I'm looking at it on a deeper scale. A lot of your success is owed to the group. You didn't do it by yourself. You didn't do it by yourself. Now, granted, like I said, for a long time you had the voice, but man, people fooled you into thinking that you would Beyonce of the group. But if you just a person that know music and you listen, creativity, yo, you that. But man, I like, as far as a solo artist, Quavo, you wouldn't be what you are right now if it wasn't for that whole group. So don't just act like you can do it on your own right now, because I'm telling you, them numbers them numbers finna be way different now. Just being real. Them numbers finna be way different now. Them hundreds of millions of views, you probably get views and shit when you, like hella views, when it's something like this, you know, in a situation like this with the Offset stuff like that, or if it's something in remembrance of Takeoff. But just talking about you dropping songs and stuff, unless it's with a Drake or somebody like that, like one of these top tier artists, unless you go pop, I just don't see you being a solo artist and being a top tier artist like you was when it was all three of y'all. Or if it was not even just all three of y'all, when it was you and Takeoff. You may feel like you don't need that side of the group, but you really do. At least in my opinion. And I feel like how you going about the situation right now, it just makes it look like you more mad at a person who wasn't even there and ain't got nothing to do with that situation that happened that night, more than you mad at the people who was there and had something to do with the situation that night. Am I tripping? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this, man. Comment down below if you stayed to the end. I know this is a long one, but, and I'm a little high a little bit. I tried to make everything make sense because it just was a random thought, man. I just was like, damn, you know, can he really just be a solo artist? Like, you know, Offset, Father Foe. That album was a good ass fucking album. Can you put out some material like that and still be a top tier Migos? That's the question I want to know. Because the way that you moving right now, you moving as if you don't need nothing or nobody. And I kind of see through that. To me, that's just a person who hurt.